Alright, what's up guys? Back with another Diablo 4 video here. I've got my Season 1 Barbarian build in World Tier 3. I was able to get here at about level 45. I've started doing Nightmare Dungeons. I didn't really start Nightmare Dungeons in the preseason until World Tier 4, so I felt like I was really far behind on leveling up my glyphs. And since they've nerfed Hell Tides, this just seems to be a little more efficient, especially if I'm only playing for an hour and there's not a Helltide going on. So let's just cover the build here real quick. I don't even have full legendaries yet. I don't know if they nerfed the drop rates or if it's just due to not playing story mode. So these aren't even like the legendary powers that are ideal. This I really think is strong for this build. Pretty much with just this, I have like no survivability issues right now. This I just picked up on the last dungeon. The power's not that good, but the stats on the gear I like. This is, decent for my build just because I get, up to 30% buff to the damage on upheaval. This, when I have berserking, I have a 24% chance to inflict bleed, cooldown of leap, primary resource on crowd control, which I've got a lot of crowd control, and then increased damage when I have a barrier, which I have a barrier somewhat regularly, so not too shabby. As far as skills go, I've got just rank 1 lunging strike, got rank 7 upheaval with those secondary points. So this build is kind of built around just having permanent berserking. Ground Stomp with, let's see, should have the buff for, yeah, that's weird, it doesn't show it as like on there, but so I've got Enhanced Ground Stomp and Generate Fury, Leap with Generate Fury, and then right now I'm just running Wrath of the Berserker. I tried using Execute, but it felt clunky. So this just seems to be more beneficial right now. Just extra damage, immunity, or not immunity, but unstoppable, and more berserking. And then I have the unconstrained legendary passive. Let's just go quickly through the passives here. So we got vulnerability on core skills, increased life, damage reduction against elites. This I just have so that I can, anything that hits me while it's healthy. It sucks that they nerf this, but it gets slowed. Over here, damage reduction while berserking, and when a brawling skill hits an enemy, 3 seconds of berserking. So every time I leap, it's just a good way to get berserking going. I could see myself, specking out of these and putting them into this, and possibly some other stuff. I've got these passives here, and then this passive node here, as well as just healing for spending Fury, which is actually, halfway decent. Between that and Iron Skin, I pretty much don't have to use potions. So I have a lot of plus the life, and the way that Iron Skin works is you want to pop it when you're lower on life, because then it gives you a stronger shield, and then that stronger shield gives you an increased heal. Now, the build isn't as flashy as my Druid build was, but when you get the Berserking buff going, I mean, you hit like a truck. So, not as flashy, but still effective. I'm probably gonna get some more bleed passives on the Paragon board. And then I'm also planning to use possibly the vulnerability glyph, possibly the increased brawling skill damage glyph, and have, you know, like a decent amount of damage off my leap. And I'm planning to use the legendary powers that give you a buff when you use leap and ground slam. Gives you like a offensive and defensive buff. So I think those will be good. I may switch to using a bludgeoning weapon later on, and then go like more of a and use bash and kind of like stun lock stuff. I think that could be strong versus bosses and just bigger elites. Just stun locking them. Right now, lunging strike is really good, just because of the mobility. So it's hard to really, it's hard to want to give up that mobility that you get from lunging strike, but at the same time, you know, like when you're just standing here hitting them in the face, it doesn't do a whole lot. So as far as Paragon board right now, I'm still on the starter board. I've just got this basic, you know, vulnerability glyph in here. I'm not, there's nothing I really like want in the Paragon board like I did on the Druid Paragon board. So I may like go a little slower leveling up through these. Like this one, I want to get the 25 dex to get this glyph activated. So I may go ahead and get that 25 dex if I can, which I thought when I looked through it I would be able to. So 5, 10, 15, 20, and then that'd be 27. So yeah, we can get it activated. 5, 10, 15, 27, yep. So I'll probably activate that, and I'll probably get some of these bigger, like these are actually pretty strong, like these armor and strength. I mean, 200 armor, that's like, I mean, I have 4,000 total armor, but it's almost like getting another piece, like another set of boots, or gauntlets. So like that's a pretty decent amount of armor. So I mean, between these two nodes, I could get 300 armor and 8% life. Just make me a little more tanky. I'm thinking possibly this tree. This tree, I don't really know if I need. I probably won't even go for the legendary node in this tree, because I don't really need it. But there is some good stuff in here, like, where is it? The increased berserking damage and berserk duration. I think that would be pretty decent. So I may just like shortcut through this, pick that up. The only other thing I would really consider getting in this glyph tree would be like the glyph socket. So like I may just, you know, shoot over here, go this way, get the glyph socket, and possibly the damage to elites. It's just kind of set up a little differently than I was remembering the Druid Paragon tree looking. Like I felt like it was a lot more condensed in the Druid tree, like easier to get the stuff you wanted. But there was a lot of like all resist in the Druid tree, which is just useless, so it was easy to ignore a lot of it, which I don't see that as much in the Barbarian tree. So that would be good. I'll probably get this one as well. It's got some more Berserker nodes here, and this I think would actually be beneficial. Just as you get crits, you get increased attack speed, so that would be good. Some more Berserking nodes. So there's like 2 Berserk clusters here. next to and then they're next to a glyph socket. So you know that this is probably definitely one. But beyond that, there's not really, like, if I'm using a slashing weapon, possibly this would be good, but I don't know if I will be. I just don't know if overpower is even like worth getting. It's just like I don't, unless there's something like there's no way to increase your overpower chance. Um, the only way I could see this being useful is when I switch to bash, um, and you have this here. After you get 4 crits with bash, your next core skill will overpower. So I mean that could be good. And then if the stuns stack, so like if you get, you know, a 3 or 4 second stun off that, that could be good. And then I'm gonna probably use like a bunch of increased damage to stun enemies, and that's kind of my future plans for the build right now. So I'm just gonna run through this dungeon here real quick. You can just kind of see how the build stacks up. I'm level 51 against level 50 elites right here, or 55. Pretty easy. I do feel like I need more damage nodes from the Paragon board, so I'm definitely planning to pick those up. When I leveled my druid, I think, you know, it felt kind of similar in terms of just like it didn't feel like I was doing enough damage quite when I got to World Tier 3. But then once I got further into the Paragon board and got a bunch of the damage nodes unlocked, then I was just tearing through everything, which I think I may even be doing more damage right now at this point with the Barbarian than I was with my Druid. So I don't think it's in as bad of a spot as I kind of originally thought. I recorded another video, but I don't know if I'll upload it because it was when I was trying out the lethal strike, and it just, especially in party play, like when you're doing a Legion event, or I did a couple dungeons after that, and it was just like it's so slow to go off. If it was more like instantaneous, typically by the time it was going off, somebody else had already killed the mob, and then it was like, you know, a waste of skill slot, because then it's on cooldown for 10-15 seconds, and then you're just sitting around waiting with, you know, a long cooldown skill, and it's not even as, you know, game changing as an ultimate ability. I may switch, you know, ultimate abilities later on to Call of the Ancients, because there's another legendary power that gives you a chance on lucky hit to double or have an ancient cast Upheaval, Leap, or a Whirlwind. So I could get, you know, an ancient to cast Leap and Upheaval off every cast. So that could be strong. It's just right now I don't have that legendary power, so Wrath of the Berserker just seems a little bit more beneficial right now. Alright. Are they... I can't tell if they're supposed to just stand there like that, or if that's like a glitch. But yeah, you can see when I pop, you know, when I've got the shield on and the Wrath of Berserker buff going, I'm hitting pretty hard. Especially like when I get the 3 stacks of the core skill damage boost. I leveled up to this point basically just with a Whirlwind build because I had a few legendary powers. I do hope they add more synergistic powers for Barbarian, because right now It seems like really all the options you have for just like legendary powers for a specific skill is Whirlwind, which is a little disappointing. Druid, there was a lot more build options, I felt like, as far as from the skills and legendary powers synergizing or interacting with each other. Barbarian, it's just like core skill buffs or Whirlwind. You know, it's either like generic powers or it's like specific to Whirlwind. There's almost nothing for anything else. There's like one for Hammer of the Ancients, and then there's that one that I was telling you about that affects your upheaval if you have Call of the Ancients on your skill bar. But Whirlwind has like at least 4 or 5 specific legendary powers, and then there's a couple other powers that seem like they were basically designed to interact with a Whirlwind build, either for Fury generation or for just like added damage around you. Like one of them is increased, like you do 500 or not, you know, the amount varies, but you just do damage, fire damage per second while berserking to enemies around you. So, I mean, I may try using that later if I can fit it into the build, but it just kind of seemed more geared towards like if you're whirlwinding through enemies, it's just added, you know, DPS in an area around your character. So, whoa, almost died. So, like I said, it's not a flashy build. It's kind of like bread and butter. You know, meat and potatoes. It gets the job done. It ain't pretty, but it'll get the job done. And I think once I get some more like stuns built into this, and I'm able to take advantage of like more stun and possibly like bleed damage effects, I think it's gonna do like, you know, pretty decent amount of damage. And then Berserk is one of the more interesting Barbarian mechanics. One thing I've noticed is that Barbarian almost feels like not quite as fleshed out as Druid, at least. I can't really speak to the other classes, but Druid has 6 legendary key passive nodes to choose from, and they're kind of like build defining. You know, very, very different from each other, whereas the Barbarian, it's like 4 options to choose from, and it's just different types of damage buffs. That just reminds me, I forgot to pop a consumable for that 5% XP. And then also in the Druid tree, it just felt like it was hard. It was really difficult. Like I had to make tough choices on what skills I actually wanted and passives. Whereas with Barbarian, it's like, ooh, I still have all these skill points to use, and I don't know, like none of this really looks that beneficial to me. So it was almost like the opposite problem that I was having. But now that I've kind of got this setup going on, I do think it's, you know, I'm in a better place. Yeah, you can just see there the heals off just the Fury spent, and from the shield, pretty substantial. and it doesn't have a very long cooldown. So you see it's already back up. I cast it, I basically get a full heal. The CC is very useful. I didn't even realize that was the boss fight. So that's my Barbarian build right now, guys. I'm gonna level up Exploit Glyph and get some of that vulnerability damage. Want to get it to probably the rank where it increases once more in size, and then I'll probably, well, I don't even really know if I need to level it up, to be honest, right now, because I can get the 25 dex just from here. So a little extra vulnerability damage, though, doesn't hurt anything even after the nerfs. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. Huh. Oh, I thought you had to be in World Tier 4 for that, but I guess not. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. And remember to give them the D.